Hey y'all, welcome back to Beyond the Bazaar. I'm Brianna, your host, and we are here with season 3 of the podcast. I know that you guys are always used to me returning in July of each year, but this year, 2022, has been really crazy for me, so I'm getting back a little bit later. Just had to focus on some mental health stuff, but I am back and feeling better than ever, so I'm happy for that. I actually do have a special announcement to make that's going to be permanent going forward. I actually do have a co-host that you'll get to meet here in just a few moments. Her name is Sarah, and she's my friend. She's into everything pretty much beyond the bazaar, such as myself. And it was an instant connection, friendship. It's just we have so much in common, and I just thought that the one thing the podcast needs is someone to bring in a difference or a likeness of an opinion, and just kind of wanted to take Beyond the Bazaar above and beyond, so to speak. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our new co-host, Sarah.
Hello, that's me. I'm Sarah, and I guess about me, I grew up in Bent Mountain. It was like this kind of woodsy area, kind of in the rural area, like in the country and whatnot. I just love anything that's, macabre and spooky and unexplainable, especially bizarre. Like that's my tea. It's the best.
Yes, yes,
Um,
I love it. Yeah, so like when did you like really get into like what can you like pinpoint a time where you knew, okay, this is my cup of tea, this is my shit, this is what I want to be into for life.
oh God, yes. When I first watched Nightmare Before Christmas, it was like my
Oh yeah.
first VHS tape, and it was literally I played it so much. I think I remember that my parents had to buy me another copy.
Oh yeah.
I I rewound the crap out of that thing. I would just watch it all the time. And from there, I mean, I would just love like the older I got, I would get into true crime and
Yes.
I loved urban legends, always loved those. I mean, who doesn't love a good urban legend? There was a movie called Urban Legends.
Yes. Oh
Like,
my goodness. That movie is my obsession. I love that. They also had one
mhm,
about Bloody Mary too. I've
mhm,
seen all three of them. I love them.
mhm. I mean, it's so hard to pick a good one, I guess I would have to say I love A Lady in White and probably like the Candyman, if that's an actual legend, because it just seems so like creepy, you know? I'll have to look more into that. But there's also like the Hook Man and like you mentioned Bloody Mary and
Hmm.
many others. I mean, especially like all over the country, like Krampus, like
Yes. All
I
over the
love
country,
that.
all over the world. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
With me, with horror, it started when I was like 5 years old, and people who
Nice.
have listened for a while know this story. My aunt showed me the movie It by Stephen King, and I was too young
Hmm.
to watch that movie. I swear to God, I was terrified to walk past drains for like
Me too,
years.
girl. The bathtub
The story.
scene, forever traumatized. Where's our repercussions for that?
Yes,
Like,
no, no, no. We need to send Stephen King like our therapy bills.
oh my God. And then when I watched Pet Cemetery, I was just even more
Oh my God,
traumatized.
yes, yes. The little boy, what Gage? That was
Yes.
yes. Oh my God, I just had to chill
But
up my
oh
spine.
my God, I love the story of Pet Cemetery. Is that like crazy or what? Like it's so creepy, but it's like so cool too to like bring something back from the dead.
It
Like,
is. It
I don't know.
is.
And
Yes.
they did that with Supernatural too, which of course I have to bring Supernatural in all the time. Sorry, guys, you're probably going to hear that a lot from me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
She's the number one fan. She's the number one fan. Misha Collins, if
yeah,
you're listening to this, she's your number one fan.
I am.
Yes, but no, like so many, like
Hmm,
so it's like so many urban legends and everything influence pop culture and so many
absolutely.
different things. And that's what I really
Hmm.
want to start exploring going forward in this podcast, which is why I'm
Hmm.
happy that I brought you on the podcast.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
for
so
many
happy to be
reasons.
here.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, for many
Hmm.
reasons. For one, you're my friend, and for two, like I know that we're into the same things. You're gonna be able to kind of bounce off of
Mhm.
and add to as well. So I really, really looking forward to that. And
Yeah,
like I
it's gonna
said,
be a lot of fun.
yeah, and for
Mhm.
listeners, guys, it's going to be a bit more casual going forward. I try to make it casual anyway, but it's going to be pretty much two friends talking about sharing urban legends and sharing our
Hmm.
thoughts on it, and just things of that nature. So it is going to be a little bit more less polished going forward and more casual, because that's just what feels more comfortable to me and what feels more comfortable for my headspace right now. So, and plus it's
Mhm.
and plus Sarah's awesome, and I just can't wait to get into all these urban legends with her.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's just so fun to just like dig up different. I mean, because you find that these legends are like there's different variations of them like all over the world. It's so fascinating. Like when we went to that cryptid convention and we learned about
Yes.
that was so cool.
Yeah, we guys, we went to a convention. I think it was called like lack of better terms, it's called the Cryptic Convention, because I can't think of
Hmm.
the exact name.
It was
And
like Southwest Virginia's Bigfoot and Friends convention, I believe.
yes, that's
Yeah.
what see, that's exactly why I need to be here, because you remember.
I remember minute details.
Yes, see, that's exactly why I need you here. Yeah. Yeah, we it was so phenomenal. Like we got to learn about the cryptids and just
Hmm.
different creatures, and that we got some cool merch. Me and Sarah actually got matching
Yes,
friendship pins for Supernatural.
we did.
Yes, yours has baby on it, the Impala, and it has,
Hmm.
yeah, Carry On My Wayward Sons, and
Hmm.
I have the angel wings that says there will be peace when you're done. And I'm just like, it was kismet. It was just
Hmm.
meant to
It
be.
it was meant to be. It was fate.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. That's what we call it, our best friend
Because you
pins.
can't have Dean without Cass and vice versa.
I
So
know, I know, but we're not gonna get
no, no, no,
Supernatural will
no.
come up frequently, but
I
we're not
know.
gonna get too carried away.
No, we won't.
Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of urban legends, let's go ahead and get into our topic for this episode. And the topic for this,
Absolutely. Sorry.
yeah, no, 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 you're fine, you're fine. And the topic for this episode is going to be the Lady in White. So this season, I kind of want to do like classic urban legends, small town haunts. That's going to be our theme for
Hmm.
this season here. So we'll like alternate between urban classic urban legends such as Lady in White. Then, of course, next week we'll do a small town haunt that we've researched. So we have some really cool things coming up for you guys for this season.
Yeah, stick around, guys. I mean, it's the best time of the year. Spooky time, spooky season.
Yes, the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes, my favorite time of the year. Yours too.
Yes, yes, as always. Yeah, so
Hmm.
with the Lady in White, when I researched it, I found there are a few different locations that have their own different variations, as you were saying earlier. Each kind of culture or region have their own rendition of it.
Hmm.
There are some Lady in White urban legends in the UK. In the US, it's officially known as Lady in White.
Hmm.
Then in Brazil and places, locations in South America, she's known as the Weeping Woman, or
Hmm.
such in Mexico, La Llorona. So that's really, really cool. She goes by different
Hmm.
names depending on location.
Hmm. Yeah, she does. I mean, it's fascinating, and each one like has a different take on it in a way. I mean, like La Llorona, like she was a creepy woman. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a story that you would tell your kids to keep them in line, essentially. Like, don't piss your mother off. She might kill you. And then,
Yes.
like, you know,
Yes.
that kind of thing. Like when you hear about La Llorona, you always think about a woman who's killed her kids, essentially, is like when you hear about the legend in
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, because that's essentially she does it for her lover, because her lover's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, like, I don't want these kids. So, like, it's me or them. So then
Mm-hmm.
she kills her kids and then she can't get over it. That's why she's
Oh,
crying. Llorona means like
yes. Yeah,
tears.
yeah, that's actually really interesting. I've heard like a different take on it,
Hmm.
but that's cool. It's kind of like this in the same wheelhouse. The
Yeah.
version I've heard was that the woman found out her husband was being unfaithful. So to get back at him, she drowned their
Mhm.
kids. But then she,
Mhm.
in the mania, she drowned them, and then she realized what she had done afterwards. So she
Mhm.
now walks and tries to takes other people's kids as her own, especially if she feels like they're not taking care of them, or she
Mhm.
feels like she can be a better mother. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it kind of just plays into that whole entire like same narrative, same wheelhouse, pretty much,
Mhm.
of just, especially that weeping woman legend.
Yeah.
um the the Lady in White has also been very popular and pop culture.
Mhm.
um so I'm going to go ahead and give you your treat. Episode 1 of the show Supernatural featured
Yes,
the woman in
September.
white. Go ahead, take it
Mhm.
away. Go ahead.
All right. So the year was 2005, September 13th. Two brothers come together to hunt monsters. Essentially, it starts out with ghosts and everything. So the pilot episode is about a woman in white. They find out, Sam and Dean, that this woman is, killing men who she finds unfaithful. And it turns out that she murdered her kids, and like she did it for her lover and whatnot. And, in the episode, she's like, I can never go home. And like Sam figures out, like, hey, if we take this chick home, like to where all this happened, like, maybe we can stop her. And like her kids, the ghost kids, all like get her in the end. And it's epic.
Yes, I do remember that episode. I loved it. Like,
Hmm.
with Supernatural, my childhood best friend had told me it was like a sci-fi show, and I'm not really into sci-fi.
Not at all.
Yeah, when I realized it was like everything I'm into, I was so mad. Like I said, I'm on the latest train possible, but at least I'm on there. Choo choo. Like I'm on there
Hmm.
now. So like I love that episode. I love, like,
Hmm.
as soon as some of the episodes start, I would know exactly what urban legend they're talking about because I just read about them
Yeah.
all the time.
The
But I
lore. The
yes, the
lore
lore.
says.
So get this.
Sorry, that's like what Sam says all the time. Of
Yes,
course, if you
yes.
guys love supernatural, bizarre things, then you
Mhm.
must love supernatural too, I would
Exactly.
think.
That's
But
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I was like, I think probably most people who are listening probably have seen or at least heard of Supernatural. So
yeah, of
uh,
course.
this is a safe space.
Exactly. We understand because there are people that just don't get it, but we do.
Yes. Yes, we sure do. All right, so the first time I've heard of Lady in White legend was the 1988 movie The Lady in White. It had Lucas, I want to say his name is Lucas Haas. Pretty much the whole premise of the movie is that Lucas Haas lives with his name's Frankie in the movie. He lives with his brother and his grandparents and his father, and he's bullied by these two kids at school. So he ends up getting locked inside the coat closet, where he comes into contact with the ghost of this young girl who was murdered. And it turns out her mother is the Lady in White, and she kind of like haunts the town.
Oh, that's
He's
cool.
Yes, yes, and he's trying to pretty much solve the mystery of her murder, who murdered her, and trying to get justice for her, because once she sees him and he sees her, she starts haunting him because she feels like he can help, because she's trying to essentially find her mom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a really great movie, especially like, it's for any age, like even young kids can watch it. It's not so scary where kids can't watch it. And it also kind of like, it's I find it interesting because it's a ghost story, but it's also
Hmm.
like a real world horror story, like, with kids being kidnapped and killed.
Yeah.
It can kind of like serve as a warning. I think the setting for the movie,
Hmm.
I want to say maybe 50s, just by the way they're dressed. I want to say it's set in the 50s.
Okay. What's it called again?
It's called Lady in White.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Just
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just putting the title right to the legend. That's awesome.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing. I think it actually
Hmm.
also took place. The movie takes place in New York, I want to say.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's really great.
Hmm. That sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yes, add it to your list.
I shall.
So, I've heard the movie Shutter Island also has a Lady in White. I think I've only seen it one
Yes.
time, but I didn't
Hmm.
really pay attention to it. Have you seen it?
Oh God, yeah. I've seen it a couple times because
Hmm.
the first time I watched it, my brain was like it could not compute. I mean, because
Hmm.
the ending, I mean, you guys have seen Shutter Island, like I would think most have. It's got quite the plot twist at the end, like Leo, like finds out that like his wife like pretty much murdered their kids and
Hmm.
stuff, and like she's the lady in white. Like, he sees her as an apparition, like, and he doesn't, you don't see that, like you just think, hey, like he's on this island and like things aren't what they seem or whatever. But like, yeah, she like ends up haunting him, and like, it ends up killing his kids because I feel like I think it was because like she was suffering from mental illness or something, and
Yeah.
she never recovers from it. So yeah, like that's a perfect example of a lady in white, like, with
Oh,
the whole
yeah, yeah, that's really cool.
Mhm.
Like kind of like a non-traditional sense, and that's it.
Mhm.
Leo's movies always have like that twist or that ambiguous end, like you don't really know.
Yeah, like the
Like
beach.
yes, yeah, or like Inception too. Like at the
Oh
end,
yeah.
like with his his like top is like spinning, but it kind of waves a little bit, so you don't really know if he's
Mhm.
dreaming or if he's actually back. Like I hate
Yeah.
movies like that because I'm like I need to know.
See, I kind of like them because I like to use my imagination. I'll kind of be like, because
Yeah.
it's fun to, I mean, okay, in a way, it's frustrating, but in a way, it's kind of like, okay, so you like come up with all these like theories and stuff, but
Yes,
it is
yes, and
frustrating.
that is the fun part. That is the fun
Mhm.
part. So, the Lady in White legend does still go strong. It was recently used in the most recent season of Riverdale. They kind of had like this arc. The first 5 episodes of season 6 were kind of like these like supernatural ripoff. I mean, I hate to say that, but like Sarah will tell you when I was watching this stuff, I was IMing her. Like, they had Raphael on there. They had the Grace bottle. They literally ripped off so much. So they ripped off
I
Doctor
was literally
Strange.
like, how dare you?
Yes, I was like, I think it was
Mhm.
intentional, but I swear, I was like, if Supernatural would have been over, I was like, they just should have had like Sam and Dean roll up in the Apollo because it's on the same network.
Yeah.
So I was like, that would have been cool. But like,
Mhm.
they had the Weeping Woman La Llorona on there, and Tony, who's played by Vanessa Morgan, she was the lady in white in that
Oh,
5 episode arc where they kind of had like this whole supernatural influence. So the whole season was pretty much like that. They had witchcraft, everything going on. It was amazing. I'm not gonna lie, like it really did help save Riverdale because it went so
nice.
far left that everyone loved it so much, myself included.
Yes.
Um, but now they have this thing where season 7 is going to take place like in the 50s and like they're back in high school because I guess they realized the time jump didn't work and they couldn't go back in time. So now they have it like kind of like the comic books. And I think the send off, because season 7 is supposed to be the last season. To send it off, they want to kind of do something reminiscent of the comics. So I think that's really cool.
That is. That's actually really neat. I guess that's like where the crossover with Sabrina comes in a way. I've heard about that.
Well, yes. So the crossover happened on season 6, the beginning of season 6. Sabrina came in because Cheryl had this thing where Cheryl was a pyro. Then she ended then it turns out she's actually a phoenix.
Hmm.
So Sabrina came and pretty much helped her on that 5 thing. It wasn't Riverdale, it was Rivervale, which is like an alternate reality that was created. Um,
Oh, sick. So that sounds like a nice crossover.
It was, and then she came back during like the last few episodes of season 6. Sabrina did, but the 5 episode arc was really cool. Like they had like then this guy who was kind of like trying to usher in the end of the world and all this stuff. Like he came there, Percival Pickens, and he was like this like warlock and all this stuff. And oh my goodness, he was delectable. He was delectable. I don't care. Like I have a penchant for
I
villains,
mean, why
especially if they're
do
good
y'all
looking.
make like the evil ones so good looking? I mean, are y'all like trying to just give us bad crushes? Because I mean, if the evil ones look good, we can't help it, like with Evan Peters as Tate. And yeah, I mean, I could go on, but
Yes, yes, yes. It's screw. Come over to the dark side. We have cookies. Come over to the dark side. We have hotties. Like that's how I feel. I'm like,
we
okay, I'm
are in
kind
the
over
dark
it.
side, baby.
Yes. Exactly, yes.
Mhm.
Let's let me get back. Let me pull up these notes because we're gonna get sidetracked so
Oh, there's
quickly.
one more reference in pop culture, and I mean, I just want to bring this up because you love like the Conjuring series so much. Like,
Yes.
they did La Llorona for like that specific, like I guess it ties into the series. Like me, I've only seen the first Conjuring because
Mhm.
that one scared me.
Yes, I've seen them all. I've seen them all. I love
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
La Llorona one. I think it had Linda Cardellini in it.
Mm.
It was really good. It was really good. I thought it could be better. See, the thing about me is that I'm no screenwriter, I'm no director, I'm no producer, but I would criticize a movie. I don't care.
Yeah, right. I mean, we all do. It's human
Yes.
nature to judge. I mean, like we try not to, but it happens.
Yes. So I thought it could have been better. I mean, I think thought it was really good, but compared to like the Conjuring and the Conjuring 2 and the Nun and all those, compared to those, it was really weak compared to all of those.
Gotcha.
But it did live up to legend really well, though. I will give it that. It did live up to the legend. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. All right. So with Lady in White, there are multiple origins of it. Of course, we have the La Llorona that we've talked about. Um so with the thing with La Llorona, it's not really stated if she's like the same entity or if it's like different ones. I feel like, there may be like maybe an entity like for Mexico and like for this South American regions, but other ladies in white legends in the United States are actually tied to specific people, which we can
Yeah,
probably get into a little bit later.
right. And it's fascinating because, like, I
Mhm.
don't know, when you really do look into the legend, she's usually like near a like water. Like, in Pennsylvania, they've seen her on a bridge,
Mhm.
like by the water. In Mexico, I mean, she's haunted lakes, rivers, especially. Like, that's where multiple sightings were.
Yes. Yeah, so just to stay away from water. Yeah, because like right, because even in Supernatural, even episode Supernatural, like it was a bridge that was over water.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Yes, wow, just all comes full circle. It's really great how like even though they're all different regions, different areas, different locales, it's
The
still the
same
same legend.
yeah,
Yeah.
way, exactly. It's super cool.
Yeah, so pretty much like we kind of already got into the lore of it. Like, one of the stories is that she was a woman that, committed suicide after being betrayed by her lover, or in some tellings it was her fiance.
Hmm.
So some ladies in whites, like it doesn't even include kids, it's just she commits suicide and then she just like comes back and she kills men who are unfaithful, kind of like how Supernatural
Yeah.
did. And then there's the one that takes the La Llorona route, which includes the kids as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, different variations on it. I mean,
Hmm.
wherever you go, like it just depends on what location, really, or just like, how things get passed down over generations. Everybody sees it a different way. So
Hmm.
I think that's why we have all these different things. In fact, I think, there's one mention where she's like the harbinger of death, like with the Mothman and stuff as well.
Yes, or a banshee. Yes. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, or like sometimes she even get hitchhike on road to kind of like to tempt men. And I think she didn't the character on Supernatural do that as well? Like she was kind of like a temptress to see
Oh,
if like she
totally.
could.
Like she was, a good-looking lady and like she
Mhm.
was, using that to her advantage or she thought she was. She's like, these men aren't they're unfaithful, like, they pick me up and she's just like in her head, like, because ghosts are crazy. They've been like, on this planet for too long and they're like consumed by anger and whatnot. So she's reasoning with herself, well, he picked me up. He's, just unfaithful and whatnot.
Mhm.
Of course, she's going to try to kill him. So,
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she did. She would like hang out and try to hitchhike and, these poor men, like especially like she would make sure that like they had a ring, like they were married or like she could tell they were with somebody because I mean, she goes after Sam because Sam has a girlfriend and, like
Yeah.
the other guy
Yes,
was married. So
yeah, yeah, she would purposely seek them out just to see if they would, but she's not realizing that her tempting them is also wrong. She's not realizing that. So,
right, double
yeah.
standard.
Yes, it was like Constance Girl. It was double standard.
Hmm.
Yeah. So in some legends, it says like she can be like a backseat hitchhiker. Like she'll just like appear there. And you're not pretty much
Yeah,
supposed
like
to ask
what's
her
up? I
anything.
just need a ride.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so I did some research here, and it says according to the Franklin County Historical Society, so it says the local legends there says that she's a ghost, a woman looking for her lost child,
Hmm.
um, or her lost lover, and that in this legend, her child or her lover drowned, or she herself was a victim. So, like I said, it kind of varies depending on the telling. It kind of gets muddled as it's told. You know how things get added, things get taken away. So,
Absolutely. Every state, country, it's different. Like it's interesting.
yes. Yes, and she's also been known to kind of, of course, to wear a long white dress, flowy dress, and she
And so,
actually also appears.
hmm.
Yeah, she also appears like in front of cars and things like that, which is really really crazy. Like, can you imagine like driving? I'm not knocking on wood on this. Can you imagine just like driving and that happens?
Mm-hmm, exactly. Like, I mean, come on. What person wouldn't be spooked by that? And then I think there was one I had read that like someone said like, they felt a banging on the car or something.
Hmm.
That's terrifying.
Yes. Like I'd be like,
Yeah, no, I'm not letting you in.
mm-mm. No, like, mm-mm. Let's see here. There is another one of the lady in white, or what's called the White Lady of Pond Bank in Pennsylvania. So
Mhm.
it's pretty much a sighting of a woman in white. It's also said she could be a witch as well, and she's just been spotted in that location. So now we're tying in witchcraft with it, which I think is really, really amazing. So it just says I kind of like it's all
Amazing.
kind of lumped in together, but it's very different.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've heard of witches being called white witches and, and
Hmm.
like La Dame La Blanche, which was like a white witch in France because,
Hmm.
that's an Outlander reference. But also, I mean, in literature as well, like she was a very powerful white witch. So yeah,
Yes.
interesting.
It is. It is very interesting. Let's see. I did read a little bit about the Lady in White of Union Cemetery, in
Mhm.
Easton, Connecticut. Have you heard about that, or do you have anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, like she appears in a white nightgown, bloody. That's fantastic.
Yes.
In a bonnet that, covers her face. Like, that's interesting. Gives me Grudge vibes.
Yes.
Black raven hair. I would think so because as a harbinger of death, I mean, I'm just kind of tying parallels in my own mind that would make sense. Nobody really knows who she is, and she's kind of squirrely because she has been known to leap in the middle of the road and wait for or pretty much try to get cars to hit her. So
Oh,
that's
oh
something.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Actually, fun fact, actually, I do have low key anxiety about driving on dark roads at night because I always feel like
Oh
that's
my
going to
God.
happen to me.
Uh-huh, right? I
I
mean,
always feel like it's going to happen. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. I just be like hyper vigilant. Like I'm just looking and like
well, I
praying and
mean,
just
yeah,
like,
especially if you're near water and you're like in an area where it's happened, you're gonna be thinking, yeah, oh God.
yes, yes. And there's like a creek. There's a creek near my house too. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, of course. It's
Like,
always
no.
when you're thinking or like talking about something paranormal that you just become more on edge. It's the best.
Yes, yes. And the story with the Lady in White in Union Cemetery,
Mhm.
there was actually an account that a firefighter back in the 90s had. So he had
Mhm.
responded to a call in the town of Monroe. And the call had said that a woman in a long white nightgown had jumped out pretty much in front of him while he was on his way answering this call. Like, can you imagine? Like, I mean, because things is most people are hardwired for logic, and like if you
Yeah.
don't like how I always said, like skeptics have the hardest time with this type of stuff because they just can't wrap their
Mhm.
head around it. They go through the wheels of their mind to try to logically explain it. So of
Yeah.
course, he got out, checked it. The hood was dented, but there was no one there.
Mhm.
He was ready to get first aid because when he hit her, the body rolled on top of the car like it normally would, and he saw it land on the road behind him. But when he got out, there was nothing
Right.
there.
I mean, come on. Any person gets hit by a car like that, like he's immediately like, gonna try to help them. I mean, anyone would.
Yes. But I think this firefighter, whoever he is,
Mhm.
he's really brave because most people wouldn't even come out and talk about it. Like
Mhm.
when I did the Seven Gates of Hell here locally, for our hometown area, um, so many people like hit up my DMs and stuff and personal message box on Facebook and were telling me their accounts, but every last one of them wanted to remain anonymous because they didn't want people to know. I'm like,
Mhm.
there's nothing to be ashamed of. If like you all are having the same collective experience, it actually helps people feel like they aren't crazy if most people are having this, you know, similar experience. I've had a similar experience, so that you're actually helping people. You could also be helping yourself by knowing that, hey, I wasn't crazy, this has happened. So many
Right.
people have had the same instances, so I
Yeah.
think it's just counterintuitive.
Like that one guy we talked to at the cryptid convention, like, okay, him and his wife went to go stay at the Stanley Hotel. As you guys know, that is the hotel that inspired The Shining. And
Yes.
they had something really freaky happen that you can't explain. I mean, they said they had like all these plastic cups and everything, because like when you go to a hotel, sometimes there's like a coffee setup, like with disposable cups and whatnot. Well, I mean, he couldn't explain it. There was no draft. Like, it's a hotel without, air
Like
conditioning.
air conditioner, yeah.
Yeah, because it's old school and they want to keep it that way. Well, how the heck did all these cups just and all the plasticware go flying off the table out of nowhere?
Yes, yes,
And
yeah, because he was like complaining about the heat and saying that he wanted to leave. And as soon as he
yes,
said he wanted to leave, he said before he even got the sentence out of his mouth, guys, the cups just levitated and hit the ground and flew across, like flew to the ground. And I said, if it would have been me, I would have been out before the cups even hit the ground.
yeah, no, they stayed. I'm like, you brave souls. I love it because then y'all like
Yes,
live to tell the tale and everything. Like, I
yes, it
guess
was
they were
really,
just, haughty about like, oh, well, you humans and your air conditioning, like, you can't you appreciate this hotel the way it is. So it goes to the
yes,
petty, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. So I think his name was Zach Bales, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He has
yeah.
like a
Yeah,
museum.
I still
Mm-hmm.
have his business card.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in Somerset, Kentucky, his
Yeah.
Nightmare Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys ever want to check that out, just special
I
shout out
totally
to Zach here because
did.
that was a really great like first account story because I've always wanted to go to Estes Park to the Stanley Hotel, but I don't
Yeah.
have the gall to. I really don't. I don't. I,
I mean, I'll go if you go. I want to go. I do. I'm one of those people too. Like, I do love paranormal stuff, but like, I am kind of scared of like, experiencing it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like I will watch all the scary movies in the world. I will read all the lore in the world, but I will not put myself in a situation to experience anything myself because I know I don't have the will within me. I know if something happens, I'm not a skeptic, so I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna freak out.
And it's not like in Supernatural where you can just salt and burn the body. It's different, guys, as much as we love that show.
Yes, we're not gonna be out there warming our hands over a burning.
Oh my God, right? And then that guy's like bunch of
These guys are
psychopaths.
insane.
I
Yes,
love it.
that was like my friend because I know they are not warming their hands.
Right after digging that grave and like burning those people's bodies. I mean, come on. Like if you didn't get like if you didn't know what they were doing, then wouldn't you think the same thing? I mean,
Yes, I was like, oh my goodness, I was cracking up though. It was so
yeah,
funny.
how can you not laugh at that?
But yeah, like some people, like I said, a lot of people. I'm not gonna say some people do go to like haunted places and all this stuff, like because some people do believe. But most people I feel that go, that
Mhm.
have been, some of them are usually skeptics.
Yeah.
Kind of like you ever seen the movie 1408?
I have not actually.
Okay, I'm not gonna give you any spoilers. So pretty much like he was writing all these horror story, like all these like haunted accounts and stuff, but he didn't really believe it. He was skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
He was still going to all these places, but he had like a lot of stuff going on in his life. And there's this song on. I want to tell you a little funny story. There's
Hmm.
a song by the Carpenters, "We've Only Just Begun," and it
Oh,
plays
I
pretty
love
much
that
when the
song.
room starts acting up.
Oh.
So when it's, all hell's about to break loose, that song starts playing. It was 2013, and
That's hilarious.
I was yes, it's 2013. I was in North Carolina going to see One Direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a One Directioner, guys. Don't judge me. And I'm in the elevator, and tell me why that song is playing in the elevator. I was about to pack up my stuff. I was like, no.
Right.
The only thing that saved me is because it was like a Hilton. It was like a Hilton Garden, and it wasn't like an old hotel. So like,
Right.
okay, I know the likelihood of this place being haunted is slim to none. But I was still on edge the whole entire night because of that song. Because that's how you know you made an effective movie. Stephen King always knows how to get you. You always know you have an effective movie when it sticks with you.
A lot of his stuff lives rent free in my head, and like I want to watch it, but then it's like I'm alone, and if I watch it, I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
Exactly. You gotta listen out for every noise. Like, what's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's just Stephen King. He's the master of horror, and I love it.
Yes, yes, he is. Like he comes up with the craziest things, and you're just like, how did you even? Oh, okay, you're brilliant, sir, because that terrified me.
Yes, yes. So with Lady in White, I don't think we have anything else on her unless there's anything, Sarah, that you want to add.
Well, I mean, it's kind of what we touched base on
Hmm.
earlier. The Franklin County Historical Society says, how they view her in the legend is she's the ghost of a woman looking for her lost child or lover who
Hmm.
was drowned or was a victim herself, and
Hmm.
pretty much the same reiteration of the Union Cemetery. She's in a white dress and leaps onto hoods of vehicles while driving on the back roads at night. That could have been
Hmm.
that story I heard about the knocking on the hood and everything. That was
Yes.
creepy. And yeah, she's been known to move in front of moving cars as well. So, I
Hmm.
mean, there are some similarities between, like, if you do kind of compare different, like, tellings from different counties and everything. It's kind of fascinating.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it really is. It really is fascinating. I actually just had a thought on my mind. You've seen
Mhm.
Scream. You've seen Scream 3, right?
Yes, I have. I love that one.
You
Emma
know the scene.
Roberts is amazing in that.
Wait. That's Scream 4. No.
Oh, my bad.
No. No. You're
Sorry.
fine. No. Scream 3 did have Sydney in it. It was about her mom.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
they
Yeah, no,
had the
I get it.
scene where her mom shows up.
Uh-huh.
And that scene, I still can to this day cannot watch Scream 3 because of that. It's just so creepy.
Right. I mean, just like with Jason Voorhees and his mom, like,
I
left
know.
field right there is awesome.
Yes, I just yeah, like let's see. With Friday the 13th, I that is one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
Halloween is my top tier, but
Mhm.
I do like Jason because Jason, the only reason why like he's walking around killing people, well, his mom started first. Was
Yeah,
because he
because
drowned because
uh-huh.
they weren't watching him.
Right. They were too busy having sex and
Exactly. And that's the
doing
reason why.
drugs and stuff.
Yes, that's the reason why I was like, no.
Those
In
darn
every horror movie.
teenagers and their horror
That's
movies.
that's why
Sorry.
in every horror movie, like as soon as they start having sex, I'm like, they're gonna die.
And they totally parodied that on Scream. Like if you are a virgin, you could survive, which, Sydney tries to stay a virgin, but I mean, Skeet Ulrich, are we right? He's pretty
Yeah.
fine.
I'll tell you how old was I when a Scream came out? How old was I? I
Right.
was I swear I didn't see it till like 99, 2000. I didn't see it till I was
Mhm.
it came out in like not what 96. I was like only 3 years old. So
Right.
I saw it a little bit later, but I tell you, when I tell you that was my awakening, that was my awakening. That's when I should have known I like Crazy Man because
Yeah.
I was like that yes, I can definitely understand. And then we ended up being pretty much the killer, him and Matthew Lillard, underrated king. I love Matthew Lillard.
Yes, and that was
Um
the best plot twist ever. It's so great.
yes, he's my parents gonna be so mad at me.
I know. Matthew Lillard understood the assignment. I
He
love
did. I'm getting a little woozy here.
like, there are horror conventions, and I've like always kind of wanted to go to one to meet Skeet and Matthew, like, because they're just iconic.
Yes, and they're such delights. I've heard from people who have met them. They're such delights.
I mean, you see it on TikTok and stuff. It's amazing.
Yes, it is. It is, and just like that's our bucket list. That I mean, one day I would like really like love to like just like podcast, travel, and
Mhm.
do all that stuff. Like one day that will hopefully be a reality. But for right now, like I really love doing this, talking about urban legends and the lore,
Oh
and
yeah,
just
the lore.
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I'm the nerd too about the lore. I love researching it and whatnot.
Yes, and just it's gonna be amazing, and I love having you on the podcast as our new host, and I'm sure all of the listeners are gonna love having you on here as well, just to add a different sub opinion and kind of just like to go to banter a little bit back and forth with, and just to get some additional insight. I really think it's gonna be a really fun ride.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be part of this. Like when I listened to on the Bazaar, I like instantly loved it. It just like, these local legends that you were talking about, it just felt like so cool to like know about things that I hadn't like really known about or like thought about researching. Like that was really neat.
Yes, yeah, and that's pretty much that's been my goal. Like, I was like, when the pandemic hit, I was like, oh my goodness, it's summer. I don't have anything to do. Like everything's shut down. And I was like, I'm going to start a podcast, something I always wanted to do. And I was really nervous about doing so because I didn't really know anything about, I'm going to say I didn't know jack about podcasting.
Oh, I know. Right.
But, thankfully, like, softwares and all this stuff have made it really helpful. And just like YouTube, all the stuff, people who have podcasts have been really helpful,
Yeah.
and just getting out here and just doing it. And now, like, this is my third, well, yeah, third year in, because 2020 was the first year, third year in season 3. And
Oh,
you
awesome.
know yeah, now, like, I have my co-host, and we're gonna have an exciting spooky season planned
Absolutely.
for you guys. Like I said, we're gonna be doing the classic urban legends, and then the small town horrors. So we're gonna alternate each week on that. With this being October, we probably may get into maybe having more than one episode a week, just so we can get out all the content for spooky season. So me and Sarah, we have time to talk about that, guys, to see how we're gonna do that exactly. But
Like to add
next
as
week,
much spookiness in as we can.
yes, yes, and next week we're gonna be doing a small town horrors episode, just about some small town haunts just in the United States.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that will be really cool to do and to get into that. Just it's gonna be a fun season.
Absolutely.
All right, good. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. Once again, this is Brianna and Sarah,
Hi.
and and you've been listening to Beyond the Bazaar. Come back next Tuesday for another episode detailing small town haunts.
Yes, you don't want to miss it. We're gonna get goofy and get spooky as well. And this has been a delight. And as always, guys, carry on. I know times are kind of hard right now, but at least we have, things like this podcast to bring some joy.
Well said, Sarah. Carry on, and as always, guys, stay bizarre. Good night.
Absolutely. Bye.